Who would have thought John Mayer would cause a run on shreddy 80s metal locking trim guitars? Ridiculous.
It's day by day, it's day by night. A corporation, destroy the nation. An introduction to corruption.
Welcome to Guitar Hunter. I'm Jeremy. This is an early 2000s Crate GFX212. This is dead on the same kind of amplifier that I used to play hundreds of shows when I was in high school in multiple bands. I was in a band called Swank. That's probably the best and most prolific. We played a couple hundred shows. Behind that, I was in a band called 67 Ninjas. I played in a couple other bands. This amplifier is my adolescence, angsty teenage pop punk life just in one amplifier. It's paired with this guitar and all of this. I am reliving my glory days. Here's the bonkers part. I paid $80 freaking dollars for this amp. 212s, 120 watts. Let's talk about reliving your glory days. I'm gonna play some pop punk. Okay, here's another one. This is from a metal band I was in that I wrote with this amp in particular. Oh, hang on, I gotta keep going. I got it. Okay, out of that first riff, it was that da da la 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 la, and it went. Crazy third harmony, so imagine something like this. Man, I'm remembering so many things that I have completely forgotten. Man, I haven't played riffy stuff like that in a long time. Holy cow! Okay, here's the thing. Should you relive your glory days? For 80 bucks, how could I not? Now, this amp does so little of what I actually want in an amplifier these days. Maybe that's not true. I would love a chuggy thing. That's kind of why I have a PV Classic 20 back here. This amp, if you were lucky enough to grow up in the early 2000s, that was kind of the beginning of the first wave of really great, really exciting guitar culture, guitar life. It's when the quality of gear came up. I think this amp new was like $300-400. I'll have to double check and see how much this would have retailed for in the early 2000s. It's depreciated by what? 75%? He was asking $100. I said, would $80 take it? He said, sure. So I've hung on to this guitar and it's lived with me for a long time. But if you saw recently, I did a video where I swapped this back to original Duncan Invader, and right around the time I did that and ruined this guitar for a 5E3 or any modern tube amp clean tone, because this guitar has no chill now, this popped up. So this is an early 2000s great GFX212. Very cool guitar. Has a tuner on the top, 212 speakers, 120 watts. Has digital effects, which I guess we'll check out the digital effects here in a second. If you were lucky enough to grow up in the early 2000s, you came up at the very beginning of the best season for guitar culture as far as like tech goes, and it's only gotten better since then. This was the first wave, and now you're finding these pieces of gear that have depreciated so much, but they still work really well. Like this thing still does everything I remember it doing, and there are features on here that I never used. I never used any of the effects. I don't think I did. I used the channel switcher. You can find the things from your glory days for so depreciated. Now, unfortunately, if you were a high schooler in the 60s, 70s, and starting to be the 80s, the stuff from your glory days is getting really expensive. So if you are watching this video and if you're in that like 30s to 40s range, I think you are right now at the moment. If you want to relive some glory days, you could do it for the least amount of money right now. The best deals probably. Because what I usually talk about is that there is this 30-year window that I call the 30-year rule. And so it's, if I'm trying to figure out which guitars will be worth most next, it is almost always what guitars were really popular 30 years ago. Because those are the guitars and gear that people were playing in high school 30 years ago. And now their kids are graduating from college, they're moved on, people are pretty far on in their career. So people are making the most money, they have more free time, they're feeling nostalgic, they want to relive some glory days. So there is a huge demand for stuff coming back. Like I have said for years, that locking trims, crazy colors, shreddy 80s guitars are going to be really expensive, and you should buy every one you can now. And now, it has 100% happened. Look at how expensive Charvels have become, how expensive Jacksons. Even look at John Mayer. That's an interesting thing. Like he has caused, who would have thought in 2003 when I bought this amp, who would have thought that in 20 years or 15 years, that John Mayer would cause a run on shreddy 80s metal locking trim guitars. Ridiculous. It's a weird world we live in. But I'm tickled pink with this thing. Do you guys think I overspent? Tell me in the comments below. Is $80 fair? Does this thing sound, is it too stuck in the new metal just cultural moment? I mean, because let's face it, this thing has no chill. There's no overdrive in this. It is either clean, that's like breaking up because this pickup's so hot, or full-blown, balls to the wall, just full sail into like triple wreck kind of territory, which is, it was perfect for me then. I still love it. Let's see what we can find with all of these effects. We'll go to the clean channel. It says chorus, but there's delay. It's an octave down. Okay, that's pretty cool. Prepare your hearts and minds. We've entered the wah. So one is a T-wah, one is an I-wah. I'll have to remember what those stand for. There's reverb on the wah. There's a bunch of effects that say they're one thing, but they're actually like really mixed with other things. Like the chorus has delay in some chorus, and maybe it's just like modulation on the delays, but still not chorus. The two wahs are nonsense. They, one sounds terrible, the other one is, it's like a delay and reverb. So now we're at the doubler. This could be really cool. Probably similar to a slapback or like the TC Mimic. This should give you just like double up, fatten up your tone. Tell me in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching. I am Jeremy. I'm the Guitar Hunter. Subscribe down below. Make sure you don't miss a video. And hit a thumbs up, because that tells YouTube, I know that everyone says this, but there are certain metrics that YouTube really does bless my channel. It sends it out to more people. If you think that more people need to learn about being a guitar hunter who fills the world with music and friendship, you can do it that way. Thumbs up. Easy. Painless. There was this band that I loved called The Agony Scene, and they had a cover of Paint It Black that I remember this amp just sounded so much like.